Today I'm reacting to Pete Davidson's watch collection in this beautiful but weird set. I've been kicked out of the kitchen. The women have kicked me out of the kitchen.
There's too many misogynistic jokes.
Too many what kind of jokes?
Misogynistic.
Misogynistic. How ironic is this? Reacting to females' watch collections while being in the kitchen.
Oh, no.
But that's incorrect. I f***ing love women. That's why we've done a video about women. But who the f*** is Pete Davidson?
Surely you know Pete Davidson.
No, I don't. Pete Davidson.
He's a comedian, an actor, and he does SNL stuff.
Oh, Saturday Night Live. Yeah, no, I have no f***ing idea who Pete Davidson is. If you want to buy or sell your watch, please go to prideopinion.com.
Yo, Lil Pump, Sam Rockwell. There's a certain guy. He's a character actor we both love. Let's get it! Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang.
So this is Pete Davidson with his hair like that, with the colors. Wanna hear something funny? I'm pretty damn sure that Pete Davidson is wearing a fake Rolex here. Like, genuinely. The watch is supposed to be a Rolex Datejust with the presidential bracelet.
If you don't like Stan, you a bitch.
This is fake watch, 100%. Right, that's a weird start. This is a comedy video clip, isn't it?
Yeah, so it could just be because...
It's like a prop. All right, so I'm not gonna judge it.
My name is Pete Davidson, and one thing you might not know about me is I used to be in tap dancing school.
The guy seems like a cool like. He's wearing a cool watch, to be fair. Pete is wearing the 36mm Rolex Datejust in solid yellow gold. Of course, recognizable because of the presidential bracelet. I must say, if he's 6'3", why the f is he wearing a 36mm Datejust? His arm would feature a Daytona perfectly. I think this is a little bit too small, to be honest.
I like it.
Alright, watch specialist. The Rolex Datejust was first introduced in 1956 and it was the first ever automatic watch to have the full day written at 12 o'clock. This was groundbreaking of its time. The Rolex Datejust was always made in 36mm until 2008, because in 2008 Rolex blew up the Rolex Datejust to 41mm. It's cool to see him wearing the original sized Rolex Datejust. The specific reference number of the watch that Pete is wearing is the Rolex Datejust 118238. The watch is a double quick set Rolex Datejust. And you know what that means?
I have no idea.
That means that you can quickly change the day and the date with the crown. The earliest models of the Rolex Datejust, you needed to set the day manually. That meant if the watch was on the 1st of August, but you actually were on the 27th of August, you basically need to go around the time for 26 days. 52 rotations towards 12 o'clock. It took you a f***ing half an hour, mate. It was brutal. It's really, really cool to see him wearing the original size. Although personally, I think the Rolex Datejust 40 would have suited him a little bit better. The Rolex Datejust reference number 118238 is worth between $25,000 and $35,000, depending if it's a full set, on which dial, and of course depending on the condition. Good start, to be fair, although that fake watch is f***ing ridiculous. Poof! From America back to the studio. This video is sponsored by our friends at IFL Watches. They're f***ing back. You know that every video we've done with IFL, their watches have been sold out? How insane. Now I got something really cool to show you. IFL Watches and the Dial Artist just introduced their brand new limited edition G-Shock. Limited to 170 pieces and fully inspired on the Tiffany colors. Every single watch is completely unique because every dial is painted by hand. The last limited edition G-Shock was sold out within 3 hours. So for this one, you have to be quick. Also introduced the new Steel Rainbow G-Shock. It's absolutely insane because it literally takes 10 hours to paint this dial. I f***ing love it. Make sure you get yours now before they sell out again. Pete and 10 friends shopping.
When you get dressed in the morning and then you walk out the house, do you think, I look sexy?
Never. I don't even have mirrors in my house because I don't like my face.
Mate, I just look myself up in the mirror, get horny, what a handsome have a wee wank, and then race back to the office.
Do you put this kind of stuff on for attention?
Is it a lot?
It's a lot of luck.
Do you put this stuff on for attention, mate?
He's just subtly roasting his outfit.
He's subtly roasting it. Pete is a cool mate. He's a cool It's weirdly tough to really spot which exact watch he's wearing. What I can say is that he's wearing another Rolex, and this time a Rolex from the Professional series, a tool watch. And if I am looking at this correctly, he's wearing a Deep Sea. The Rolex Deep Sea is a version version of the Rolex Sea Dweller. The Rolex Sea Dweller was first introduced in 1978, and it was basically a dive watch, a Rolex Submariner on steroids. On the 30th anniversary of the Rolex Sea Dweller, Rolex introduced another Sea Dweller. The Sea Dweller on super steroids in this case, the Rolex Deep Sea. The Rolex Deep Sea was first introduced with a black dial only. The reference number 116666066. Satan watch. In 2014, Rolex introduced the deep blue Sea Dweller. It was a Sea Dweller with a deep blue dial. It wasn't your normal blue dial, it was a gradient blue dial going from light to dark blue, representing the deepness of the ocean. Of course, the top of the ocean was nice and blue, and the bottom of the ocean was really dark and scary. I can't precisely see what Pete is actually wearing, but I'm pretty sure he's wearing the Rolex Sea Dweller 116660 or 126660. That's no dog shit. He's wearing a 36 mil and now he's wearing a 42 mil. Like, I mean, that's 5 mil difference the size of my cock. That's an extra cock on your wrist. That's a bit weird. Holy fuck, who's that bird?
It's Ariana Grande.
Is he dating Ariana Grande?
Well, he was back in the day, a couple of years ago.
How can that guy pull Ariana Grande? She is f***ing smoking.
He's with Kim Kardashian now.
What?
Did you not know this?
Kim was breaking up with
Kanye, yeah. And
Kanye West.
she was dating Pete Davidson then after.
This guy, this actual guy,
Yeah.
dating Ariana Grande and Kim Kardashian. He must have a cock of the size of a U-boat. What a f***ing champion that guy is. Like, that's mad. He actually seen Kim Kardashian's vagina.
That's why she's famous, Nico. Because of her sex tape.
Did you have a sex tape?
Yes.
She actually has a sex tape. Where can you find this?
What do you think?
That is f***ing brilliant. I know what I'm doing later. I'm just so confused because the portions on the watch he was wearing earlier, it was a Deep Sea. Now he's wearing a Rolex Submariner. I know people that own both. I know people that own a Submariner and a Deep Sea, but now I'm a bit confused. Does he have a Deep Sea and a Submariner, or was I wrong in the first clip? That's the question. The Rolex Submariner was first introduced in 1954, and ever since introduction, it's the most iconic Rolex ever. Depending which reference number that Pete is wearing, and it could only be one of the two. The 116610 or the 126610. The 40 or the 41 millimeter Rolex Submariner. This watch is valued between $14,000 and $16,000. Pete Davidson is a god tier man. Period. Done. Look at that. Another class watch, in this case a Rolex Datejust. And do you know which reference number?
16233.
Well done. Well done. You're becoming a bit of a watch expert now. Pete is wearing the 16233, which is a vintage 36mm Rolex Datejust. During the 40th anniversary of Rolex, Rolex introduced a new watch called the Rolex Datejust, the first ever automatic watch featuring an automatic date, something that was groundbreaking in the industry. Several versions, several reference numbers later, in 1988, Rolex introduced the reference number 16233. This exact reference number was produced between 1988 and 2004, being it arguably the most popular and the most iconic Rolex Datejust ever produced. Depending on which dial, depending on the set, and depending on the condition, the Rolex Datejust 16233 is worth between $6,000 and $9,000. I see Machine Gun Kelly, which is quite cool. I like Machine Gun Kelly. And then I see another 16233, but that is, that watch is absolutely destroyed. This must have been one of his first ever watches, because this watch is an aftermarket dial, not produced by Rolex, but it does say Rolex on the dial, meaning that this is a fake Rolex dial. The bezel is aftermarket diamond, so this watch it's a bit of a made-up watch, if you know what I mean. And this watch is completely worthless. It should be thrown in the bin. It's actually worthless. Like,
Yeah.
this is what dealers dump on the market because they can't sell it. Listen, I'll forgive him because it's probably one of his first watches. I still like Pete. Pete is a cool. Like, did or did I not say that a Rolex Date 40 would suit him perfectly? There you go. No bullshit. This is arguably my favorite Rolex Day ever produced, although the dial he currently has is my least favorite.
What's your favorite dial?
My favorite dial would be on the yellow gold white dial, 100%. This is the Rolex Day-Date, reference number 228238. The Rolex Day-Date 40 with the champagne dial. The watch is made out of solid yellow gold. The presidential bracelet is of course also solid yellow gold, and then combined with the champagne dial, it's one big brick of gold.
This is a reference number 126236, 36 millimeter.
Oh, that's my watch. Mwah. I just bought this watch. This is the Rolex Datejust 126234, the new Wimbledon Rolex Datejust.
Millimeter.
36 millimeter. And remember, if you want to buy or sell a watch, check us out at prideandpinion.com. The Rolex Datejust 228238 that Pete Davidson is wearing here is worth between $45,000 and $52,000. This is a recent photo because that battery pack of Apple is very, very recent. This is a Rolex Datejust 41, fluted bezel, diamond dot rhodium dial. Reference number 126334. Average, but cool. I expected more. The Rolex Datejust 41 that he's wearing in this photo is worth between $13,000 and $16,000. I think he has a cool watch collection. It's very boring though. Listen, Pete is a legend. I've seen his face before. I think he's a baller in every way possible. If there will ever be a Nobel Prize for pulling birds, Pete will definitely be up there, like myself, as one of the nominees. I think Pete loves watches, he just doesn't know much about it and he needs to be properly educated. I would love to be the guy that will educate Pete Davidson about watches. Pete, give me a call.